Hey, what is going on, you guys? It is Mr. No Sleep here from Old School RuneScape, and welcome to a brand new loot video for you all today. So today I bring you guys a special one. This is a dragon like none other. This is loot from 1,000 Revenant dragons. For this video, all kills were tracked with that Slayer kill log all the way at the bottom. As you can see, we were 49,568 Revenant KC before we started this video. Starting at 0 and ending at 1,000. Here is the bank tab, which would be my gear for this one. Wanted to switch it up, instead of black d'hide, maybe try the Guthix d'hide for the prayer bonus, as well as the Torag plate legs for the defense bonus. 500 of these kills were going to be unskulled, and 500 of these kills were going to be skulled. Doesn't really make a big difference if you're skulled or unskulled. The only difference is you get a little bit better odds at the rares if you're, risking more if you're skulled. So kind of a trade-off. Better odds to make more money, but you're risking a whole lot more if you're going to be deciding to do that. And I have to be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, this is the best representation of the Revenant dragon that I can give you. As I'm entering the cave, killing my very first one of the video, like clockwork, a pker logs in the second that I get here. It's almost like this was planned or something. This timing was just incredibly bad for me. And as you can see, your inventory has to be ready to go for these situations, so always bring a ton of Ceridome and Brews, a lot of super restores, always have that Phoenix necklace. And you guys know me, I always try to do some anti-PKing, which essentially means just fight back until you can't do anything to kill them anymore. So essentially dump your special attacks and then log out, and you will see a lot of logging out in this video. And I really just kind of enjoy showing you guys almost all of the clips where I was escaping PKers, because you kind of may ask yourself, Mr. No Sleep, how does this relate to the loot? Well, unfortunately, it has a big impact on the loot. It has a big impact on how much money you're going to be making per hour if you die here, especially if you have to keep taking time out of your day to escape all of the people that try to kill you. And even though I was unskulled for the first part of this video, I did skull up occasionally, for example, in instances like this where I knew I could make a quick escape and just try to get lucky, kill a fellow PVMer. You guys saw a lot of that in the loot from 1,000 Revenant Night video, but I will say I didn't run into as many PVMers at the dragon as I did at the night, and I think I know why. I think it's because the dragon is the hot spot for pkers. Even this snakeskin bandana wearing PVMer tried to kill me with this rune crossbow. Let me tell you something about a rune crossbow. Certainly isn't as powerful as the ballista. So Jimenez, I will see you later, and thank you for the 400k. This was all really in the first hour of being at this dragon. I mean, I was stunned at the amount of people that were just, constantly logging in and rushing me or attacking me. And although Revs is not multi-combat anymore, this next clip represents the challenge that PVMers still face. As you can see, I'm getting claw-specced and attacked by one guy, and then he simply stands under me once he freezes me, so I can't attack him, I can't stay in combat with him, and then his friend just basically jumps on me and, he essentially just attacks me. So they can't attack me at the same time. In other words, they can take turns doing it. So it's still pretty challenging to tank that. This guy, I don't know what he was doing. He had an AGS ancestral hat, full armadillo, and a toxic staff, and I could have killed him if I just would have claw-specced him, but I was just kind of stunned at what he was using, and he logged out. So that was a huge PK that I could have gotten. So that one hurt the heart a little bit there. Something that most people can't avoid in these Rev caves is a death. Unfortunately, we did see our first death very quick into this video, and every death that, I do have, unskulled or not, is always going to be at least the 750k to 1 mil GP loss. And it was after this moment that I, wanted to get a little bit of revenge. So I decided to skull up and, just fight the next person I see, get a nice little PK, make myself feel better. Turns out the only thing that I felt was fire, that being dragon fire. Ladies and gentlemen, do not forget your anti-fire. That was an Armadillo Godsword loss, all because of just not bringing a sip of anti-fire. Fortunately for me, the Armadillo Godsword's only 7 mil, so it's not that painful, but still, it's a pretty big loss. And shout out to these two majors. They did try to kill me, I think, twice during this video, but escaped them both times, and they did say that it was all love, no hard feelings. Got to appreciate the kind words. Either way, though, we did get our first rare into this video, just a couple hundred kills in, and it was the Ancient Emblem, not being skulled for this one. This was during the first 500 unskulled kills. Only worth 500k, but you know, anything will help the price check, especially after what we've seen has been lost so far. Very strange things did happen to me during this 1000 video. You know, for example, right here, this guy with max strength and not a care in the world just rushing me out of nowhere. He didn't even pray melee when I rushed him. You know, the only difference between me and this guy was the Inferno Cape. Fortunately, he did not kill me, but, you know, this was just very strange to see so much of a high risk here, you know, at the Revenant caves. But I suppose with the fact that it's not multi anymore, it's probably very easy to escape. For any seasoned pker, I'm sure they're not too worried about dying anymore here. That's why you guys will see a couple Elysians throughout this video and a lot of Arums instead of Mystics. And speaking of Mystics, this Mystic Mage did log in as soon as I killed that Black Chin Hunter here. So you even have to be, you know, cautious of those guys if you're one of those Rev PVMers like myself who likes to spec them occasionally. Always teams waiting. And there's another death in this video. Very unfortunate, you know, the Armageddon Godsword was just too powerful for me there. I really tried my best to, you know, live through almost anything, but there were quite a few occasions where it was just too difficult, you know? There were a lot of creative ways to die in the Rev caves, and I gotta be honest, a lot of weapons I've seen, but no doubt the Armageddon Godsword is the deadliest. Even at 67 HP, you are not safe with the AGS out. Alongside getting a lot of dragon plate legs, plate skirts, and long swords, we did get our second rare, being the Ancient Totem at a current street value of 1 million GP. This was the second rare of the video, and it was double the price of the first one, so we are off to a pretty good start. I think this was around the 300 kill mark or so. It's not often that I see this staff in the Rev caves. I think I saw it twice throughout this video, and this was the first time by this guy here. I think I chanced him maybe once. If he would have hit me high on a Vengeance, maybe my Ballista could have killed him there, but either way, it would have been a massive PK, but, you know, of course, he killed us instead. To make matters worse, you know, I re-geared and I went back up, and, you know, I wanted to make something happen. Ran into a very easy-looking guy to kill, and of course, he got the special attack half a second before I did, and yeah, 2 deaths in like 20 minutes there. Transitioning into almost killing another Max Mage yet again, and then of course, if the special attacks don't work, we make sure we log out, or run all the way south and then log out. I mean, I don't know, there's a lot of different ways you can escape PKers here. Most of what you've seen on screen is usually consistent with just exiting the entrance and then running on the opposing side of it to log out, because that way they have to take 2 seconds to get to you, and that 2 seconds always usually is just enough to be able to log out in time. What you saw there was the only double death that happened at these dragons. I did get back in time and got all of her stuff, so that was nice. And a quick 10-second break to congratulate the guy that got the Arcane Sigil at this week's Court Mass. You can find me on twitch.tv/MrNoSleep every weekend doing live Court Masses. Check the description below. And that was the last Black Chin Champa Hunter that has fallen in the making of this video. This one was actually not a bait to skull, it was just a 98 Black Chin PK, so that was nice. Elder Maul hitting a 0 on 1 HP there, but that's no surprise with my luck these days. But luckily, we actually did get the kill. He continued to go for us, and surprisingly, he didn't teleport out, even though he should have. And we did get 2.7 mil from that PK, the Dragon Crossbow, among many other things. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed that, because that was just about as good as it gets for the PKs in this one. Another close call, almost killing this Mystic Mage here, but it turns out this guy was just bait for his team to log in. I ran into these guys twice during this video, and don't let a noob fool you, you know, just because someone has really rubbish gear on and just seems like they're risking a little too much HP, it could just be a ploy for you to stay in combat with them so that they can get their team to log in and then kill you once you kill them. Always gotta be prepared for everything. Not to mention, you know, once I changed my username back to Mr. No Sleep, I was definitely more of a target, as well as I was live streaming all of this on Twitch, and I really wasn't even hiding my world most of the time. It was when I started a Skull that I did download a RuneLite plugin, which hides your world while live streaming, so that really did help. As mentioned earlier, we did encounter this staff 2 times during this video, and this was the second time. Chancing this guy over 4 different times, able to kill him so many different opportunities to maybe even smite that amazing staff of his, but of course, he ended up getting the kill with an Ice Barrage. Following that inventory, I did die by, yet again, another Ice Barrage. Using all my brews, all my phoenixes, and all my food, sometimes enough just isn't enough. To top those 2 kills off, I did return to the Rev Caves, and I died by a guy named MN7. You know, he had a 3rd age mage hat, and I actually ran into him a couple hours later when I was streaming, and we started talking, and it turns out I used to watch his YouTube videos about 16 years ago, and I actually referenced one where he killed the very famous PKer Elf Mage. So big shout out to MN7, also known as Portlock. It's cool to run into someone who you watched, you know, 15 years ago. It doesn't really happen every day. And what you're seeing here is one of the rare instances of someone saving my life. A definite skull death that I was going to lose this Zamorak Godsword, and that mage just logs in and saves me. So a big shout out to that guy. I did have a few bodyguards at this point in the video when I was skulled, you know, risking the Zamorak Godsword. You may wonder why I was even bringing the Zamorak Godsword with that crossbow risk. Well, in my eyes, that was my way of escaping. Instead of just losing whatever I had skulled minus the crossbow, I would bring along a Zamorak Godsword, increase my risk, and hopefully increase the odds of me getting away by using that Ice Barrage special attack that comes with that ZGS. And hopefully I would just be able to stand under my opponent or just run away and log out from them if this special attack worked. So that's why I did risk the ZGS. You won't see as many pkers in this part of the video as you did in the beginning. I mean, if the revs were as active as what you saw in the first 500 kills, oh my goodness, no one should ever come here. This is just crazy. And I want you guys to know all the clips that you saw of me logging out, there was 15 more that I did not put into this video. There's a lot of people that camp this Revenant Dragon, more so than the Dark Beast, more so than the Orc, and certainly more than the Knight. Well, we all saw this moment coming. The Zamorak Godsword was lost, as well as the Assembler, in a 2200 total level world by two guys who were pretty good PKers. They all had Inferno capes and even max capes, so the agility shortcut really wasn't going to help me too much there. After losing the Zamorak Godsword, I did bring along the Dragon Dagger with a Dragon Defender for a little bit of anti-PKing. Take a guess what happens next. If you guessed that, yeah, you're correct. The Dragon Bolt E coming in again, just like you saw it at the start. Well, now you see it at the end. Through all of my mishaps and through all of my deaths, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys learn a lot of valuable lessons here in the wilderness. And also, here's another one. Be careful of the obelisk. You know, a lot of clans use that to lure you into multi. Luckily, that team wasn't fast enough for me, but I could have been unlucky, so you got to be on the lookout. At long last, here we are. Loot from 1,000 Revenant Dragons has been completed. A big shout out to the Twitch chat for keeping me company and always supporting these long grinds. It was a lot of fun, actually, and hour-wise, I think it only really took about 20 to 25 hours. The overall loot shown here was also tracked by RuneLite, everything coming out to be just about 22.6 mil, this being half unskulled, half skulled. And as it goes for the rares, we did get 2 magic seeds, 1 ancient emblem, and 1 ancient totem, so those will be in the rare price check on their own, and we will go ahead and combine that with the normal drops that we did receive. The second price check coming out to be a nice little 1.8 mil, meaning that we made 24.5 mil overall from 500 unskulled and 500 skulled dragons. All the kills tracked here by the Slayer log and all shown by RuneLite there. Surprising to me that I did get the only rares during the unskulled part, but you know, RNG is RNG. It's still very high drop rates to get anything, even if you are skulled. And if you are curious if I did profit throughout this video despite all the skulled and unskulled deaths that I did go through, yes, I did. I did make just about maybe like 6 to 7 mil profit through this, so it was a lot of fun for me though. I didn't really mind the GP. I really just enjoyed showing you guys what Revs is all about now, all at the Dragon, so that you guys can be the judge if it's worth killing or not, because those PKers, I don't think they're leaving anytime soon, so unless Jagex makes these Revs a little bit more worthwhile to kill, I don't think they're going to stay relevant for too long. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for taking the time to watch today's video. I will see you tomorrow with the next one. Until then, Mr. No Sleep, out.